agree that emotions are very important with people who are religious, and they have a personal relationship with both their God and the other people in their church, and they do these very intense personal things together. But should we take that into consideration in the sense of not being a dick, or however you want to put it? It's like they have this book, and what it teaches is if you don't do what the zombie master says, a zombie's going to come along, he's going to bite you, and you're become this filthy, disgusting zombie, you're going to want to eat the brains of people around you, and you're going to be this way forever. If someone says that sort of thing, and this is of course exactly what religious people do, it's exactly what they do. They say the zombie master is going to turn you into a zombie unless you obey these arbitrary set of rules and such. And they've been taught this their entire life. They really, really think it's true, but it's child abuse. I mean, literally child abuse is what I'm talking about here. And I don't think that anybody can deny that teaching someone that if you don't obey, a zombie's going to come along and he's going to turn you into a zombie would be horrible psychological abuse. And in the face of this, to say like, oh, we can't call the child abuse, which is going to hurt their feelings. Absolutely, it's going to hurt their feelings, but who cares? And I think that's where I come from in the whole, whether or not we should be nice to these theist people who are going around teaching their children, these horrible fantasies, these vile things, these stories of pain and suffering that are going to descend from the clouds, from God, unless they show the appropriate obedience to the arbitrary authority of this book and a religious organization, and really, to the parents themselves. That's child abuse, right? If it was done in any other way, if I did that to my kid, I would go to prison for abusing my child. I continuously threaten them with being burned in oil or being chopped up into little pieces. If I did that, I would go to jail. So I don't think it's fair for them to teach these things, these horrific things, these monstrous things, and then be able to claim that, we're hurting their feelings, we're bringing up how horrible and monstrous and terrible their things are. And obviously it's not just little kids. I mean, it's the homophobia and the sexism and the racism and the general, bigotry towards people of other religious faiths that occasionally explodes in some sort of murderous consequence. It's that as well, of course. But something that all religious faiths do is they teach their children, they indoctrinate their children in these terrible fantasies. And it's all wrong. It's just wrong to teach, impressionable young children that there's this incredibly hostile world out there that's going to get you unless you obey God. And I don't think that the defense that I'm hurting their feelings really stands up to that if I am in fact true. What I'm saying is true. And the whole linchpin of their argument, the whole linchpin of it is this sacred text that they use to indoctrinate other people, and they use to justify, whatever conceited, bigoted, horrific thing that they want to do to one another. And to take this text and somehow say, because they have a personal relationship with the fantasy characters in this text, that I have some obligation to kind of tone down, scale back the critiques that I make, I find intellectually indefensible. In the same way that I find the text itself to be intellectually indefensible. So that's my take on the subject. I understand what you're saying, and I think that as much as humanly possible, of course, we should be sensitive to the feelings of others. I do not reject being kind or nice, and I don't think that being mean is worthwhile. But at the same time, I cannot reduce, in any good conscience, the strength of my critique of religion because it might hurt their feelings. Although I agree that people who intentionally kind of use the truth as we understand it as a cudgel to beat about religious people for the purposes of hurting them, that's kind of detestable. I think that's my feeling, though, in emotions and how it gets caught up in religion. My name is Chris Bradley. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope I can see you at my website and on my YouTube channel. Bye-bye.